What's up guys, it's Joel Runyon, and today is the last day of 30 days with no caffeine. No coffee, no energy drinks, nothing. I've had a bunch of friends talk about it. It's a big rage on Twitter right now, and everybody's talking about whether or not taking time off caffeine is good for you. So I thought I'd try it, gave it 30 days, and this is what I found. It sucked. So let's talk about it. But first, coffee. Okay, so why did I do 30 days of no caffeine? First of all, I like caffeine. I will often drink multiple coffees a day. I will have a couple energy drinks. I would put myself in a high percentile of people who drink caffeine. I would say on any given day, I'm having probably 200 to 600 milligrams of caffeine, which is a lot. But I also feel like I do quite a bit of activities that I end up needing the boost for. So I don't feel like I'm overdoing it often. But what I did notice when I wanted to start the challenge was that even when I was sitting still, I was having trouble sitting still. Now that's like pretty common for me. I don't like doing nothing, but I'd seen a few people say they kicked caffeine for a year, for 2 years, for 30 days, and it was a game changer for them. So I wanted to see what happened for me. Now on challenge lengths, I usually think a year long is way too long. I find out whether something was helpful to me or not pretty much in the first 30 days. You can do that 60 or 90, but if you're crushing it 90 days and you want to just keep going, that's fine. But for me, especially on an experiment level, 30 days is totally doable and it's worth testing out. So what do I think of life without caffeine? I think it's pretty much worthless. I came into this actually thinking I was going to come off of caffeine and level out and have like way more energy, way more like clear-headed thought, and just be like crushing it across the board. And what I noticed was that I basically didn't feel any benefits. This is kind of surprising to me because, like I said, I drink a lot of caffeine on a regular basis, and I actually thought coming off of caffeine I would have like a massive headache or like the caffeine hangovers like we talk about, and that didn't even happen. I just kind of came off it, you know. At the beginning of the month, I just decided I was not going to drink it anymore, just did it in cold turkey, and it was totally fine. That was actually the most surprising part because I thought I would definitely have a headache or a hangover or something. As far as like sleeping better, having more energy, all that stuff, I didn't see any of that. I think the main benefit I saw was I would wake up easier sometimes, but that's it. What I noticed was instead of drinking coffee throughout the day or when I'm at a coffee shop, I would just add in substitutes, and the substitutes that I was drinking were not better options. If I'm having a cold brew or a flat white or even like a latte, basically the only thing in that is coffee and milk. There's not a lot of sugar, there's not a lot of additives, not a lot of other things. And when I was cutting out caffeine and coffee, I would either end up drinking like a hot chocolate because I'm an 8-year-old on the inside, or a beer, both of which I think are markedly worse than caffeine. Although I do have opinions on the best hot chocolate in Austin, so if you want that information, I might let you know. Spoiler alert, it's Medici, East Side. Now, I want to say again, I actually thought the transition off of coffee, off of caffeine was going to be harder than it was, and I did not have any issues with this. It's surprising to me. I'm a relatively addictive personality, so when I like something, I like it a lot. When I drink a little bit of coffee, I'll drink a lot of coffee, and coming off of that, I thought I would have like a bounce back, and I didn't have any issues on that. I thought the main benefit to this challenge was basically, one, knowing that I could do it. I always think it's interesting what you can take out of your life and just voluntarily remove it so you're not tied to it. I think that's really good practice just from a self-discipline standpoint, but from a quality of life standpoint, I think life is definitely better with caffeine. Also, I think there's something to do with activity level here. When people, if you're just sitting at your desk all day and just drinking caffeine all the time, I can totally see how cutting it out is going to help you. But if you're an athlete and you're using caffeine in your workouts and training and other things, I found from the friends that I know that are super active and pushing themselves all the time, they have kind of a higher tolerance on caffeine just because their body's utilizing it more. If you're taking in a lot of caffeine and your body's utilizing that caffeine for performance, that's a whole different game than if you're just drinking caffeine to drink caffeine and you're sitting at your desk and then you're sitting on your couch and you're not actually doing anything. So for me, in a relatively active lifestyle, I feel like the caffeine is serving me versus something that I'm just downing at a 9-to-5 office job, if that makes sense. So is it worth doing again? I would totally do it again, just because I think it's an interesting self-discipline practice. Do I want to do it again? Not really. Again, I think I was a little disappointed because I really thought I was going to have a more level-headed mindset coming out of it. And once I replaced just the habits of going to a coffee shop and ordering the same thing, that was the hardest part. And once I got out of that and I just sucked it up and I ordered whatever non-coffee item on the menu, it wasn't really that tough. One of the other reasons I decided to cut caffeine out, I got some feedback from some friends that I seemed a little high-strung, a little jittery, or a little nervous lately. Part of me wanted to know if that was attributed to caffeine or if it's just relatively high stress because, I don't know, because you're getting sued by a multi-billion-dollar company trying to cancel your trademarks and bully you in court. But it could be the caffeine, right? Who knows? And what I found about that was actually sitting with myself a lot. And what I noticed about sitting with myself was it wasn't necessarily anxiousness, but it was a little restlessness, something in my body wanted to just move and get stuff done. And so what I think I found with that is that's much more of a function of just how I work. And the solution to there is not always cutting things out, but it's actually, for me, it's especially doing more physical activities. And so one of the things that I've noticed is when I cold plunge on a regular basis, it basically resets my entire CNS. I will notice that I'm less restless, and I'll notice that I'll get rid of weird bad habits when I'm cold plunging regularly, just because my body is adjusted to a different level of stressor. So a lot of times people try to remove things in order to perform better. And what I found is if I'm being restless or I'm being spinning my wheels a little bit more, sometimes it's not that I need to cut things out. Sometimes it's happening because I'm not pushing myself sufficiently and I actually have to step it up. And when you get yourself into a sufficiently challenging position, that's kind of when you gain the traction and the restlessness kind of falls away. All right, so that was 30 days no caffeine. The first week and a half of it was kind of long, but after that, it sort of flew by. I'm happy to have that in the bank. Totally do it again, but don't really want to do it anytime soon. So that's the video for today. If you guys like to hit subscribe, hit the notification bell to make sure you get all the videos. If you've done a 30-day no caffeine challenge, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Did you think it was slightly overrated too, or am I the crazy person? In the meantime, I'm gonna go make up for some lost time. I'm gonna finish this coffee, maybe go get another one, and I will see you guys on the next video. Cheers.